Hi, I'm Pam Harland, and I'm here to talk to you today about Kindles and using Kindles in your school library, especially. At Plymouth Regional High School, where I'm the librarian, I received a grant to get 20 Kindles, and I got Kindle DXs, which are the really big Kindles, and I got a gift card for titles to also add to our Kindle. And I would say the biggest question that I get about Kindles from school librarians is this, is how do you manage your Kindle account? So what we did is we created an Amazon account for our high school library, so it's separate from one I use for ordering, and I attached our gift card to that account, and I registered each individual Kindle under that Amazon account. So it looks like one person has 20 Kindles. Every time you buy a title of a book, you actually get 6 copies of it that you can do what you want with it. 6 electronic copies of a book. So you could put one on a computer, one on your BlackBerry, one on a Kindle, or what we do is we put 6 copies, one on each of 6 Kindles. So when we buy a book and we want it to go on all 20 Kindles, we only have to buy 4 copies of a book. So that surprised us. We thought we were going to have to buy each book individually for every Kindle, and we don't. So that's good news for you. And what else? We have, because each Kindle is attached to our Amazon account, and our Amazon account is attached to our gift card, when we check out the Kindles, we leave the Kindles registered to that account, and we explain to students that they are in charge of doing the collection development on our Kindles. So we have high school students, so maybe that makes a difference. And we've explained to them what a serious business this is, doing collection development. But if there's a title that they want to read, they're welcome to purchase it. And I get an email sent to my email saying that a new title has been purchased. And so far, we've been using it for over a year now, and we've never had a student buy something that I thought was inappropriate. But we have a pretty liberal collection development process anyway at the high school, where if a student wants to read something, I get it for them. So I strongly believe in a student's intellectual freedom and their right to read what they want to read at the high school level. So we haven't had any issues with that. What we have had issues with is that we have students check out our Kindles. We put them in these Patagonia cases, which are pretty nice cases. They're sturdy, they're solid, and each Kindle fits inside. We put a barcode on the back. But what has happened, so we can check it out like that, what has happened is that occasionally a Kindle comes back looking like this. That's bad news. This is a cracked screen. There's a chip here and a smash there. So because we're dealing with high school students, we're not 100% sure what happened. Did the student drop it? Did they smush it? Did it get squished in their backpack? Did they have it in their backpack and threw their backpack across their room? Not sure what happened. The high school students come back and say, I didn't do anything, I don't know what happened. So right now we have warranties on all of our Kindles, and Amazon has been amazing with sending us a new Kindle when something like this happens. So we've called them, said our screens have cracked, and they overnight a new Kindle to us, and then we send this one back in the packaging that they sent to us. It's a lot of paperwork. You have to call Amazon and explain what happened and deal with serial numbers, switches in your catalog, things like that. So that's a pain. It's a pain. And I don't know how long Amazon is going to continue sending us new Kindles when this kind of thing happens, if they're eventually going to flag our record and say, whoa. So what we did was we ordered some new cases that I don't have to show you because they're so new. They are polycarbonate cases, so they're essentially bulletproof, and they cover the screen. It goes all across the whole device, and it covers the screen. So I think it's not going to be as funky looking. It's going to be a little chunkier, not as sleek, but that's okay. we've also had students who don't want to check them out because they're so nervous that something like this is going to happen. Or they'll check them out and say, I didn't dare to touch it. I was afraid I was going to break it. So that makes me feel bad. But on the most part, we've been circulating these for a year and we've had 3 screen cracks. And we just had 2 in 2 weeks. And so that's why I happen to have one here. We just haven't sent it back yet. We also made a quick user's guide to the Kindle. We just copied this off the website and blew it up and put this in the pocket of each one of the packages. And we used to circulate a power cord with them, but we don't anymore. We're going to have that as a separate item because most students didn't need it. So, and that was just an extra thing that was in there. So that's managing Kindles. Our student response to this has been really great. A lot of students are very interested in the technology. I think a lot of them just want to see one. They want to take it home and show their parents. Look what our library has. They have Kindles. Students are in disbelief that they're allowed to actually buy a book on it. So we have students come back and say, are you sure? Are you sure? It keeps telling me that it's going to come out of the library's account. Is there a rule I can only buy 1 book? But we tell them no, they can buy whatever they need. And we started off, when we got the 20 Kindles, we started off only checking them out to teachers first, so we could all figure out how to use it, how it was going to work, and what that was going to be like. So that was a good test. We got them in October, and it took up until about Christmas time to figure out what we were going to use them for, how we were going to use them. We count them as equipment in our catalog, but we circulate them like books. So each Kindle gets checked out for 3 weeks, which is the same checkout as a book checkout. What else? Oh, after we checked them all out to teachers, we decided we would check them out to students in our book club. So I run the book club, so I got to have my captive audience of students who were very interested in books. And we bought a couple of our book titles on the Kindle, and I showed them that they could buy books and encouraged them to add books to the list. They read 2 book club titles on the Kindle, and they helped me write an article that I just published in one of the professional journals. And they were very positive about it. I think the magical thing for them was that they could be at home and see an ad for the movie Dear John with Miley Cyrus, and they could say, oh, I would love to read that book. Ooh, I have a Kindle in my hand, and go right to the Kindle store, download it, and they're reading it 30 seconds later. That was the most powerful thing for students that they really, truly appreciated. There are some extra little functions in the Kindle that some students really liked. Some students who were reading assigned reading for classes would be able to go in and highlight passages and take notes within the Kindle, and they really liked to be able to do that. Other students like to be able to use the cursor to go down and highlight a word, and the Kindle automatically looks it up in the dictionary, so that was helpful too. So we also have some students who say, I want to see the book cover, I want to hold it, I want to touch it, I want to smell it. So some students are very much anti-Kindles, they don't want them. And frankly, I read a series of books this summer. I read the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series on the Kindle, and I would go see my grandfather during the summer, and he had the print copies of those books. And so I'd get to his house, and man, I was thirsty to just hold the book in my hand and to look at the cover and to look at the pictures and the comments that publishers had written about it. I loved holding the book in my hand after having read the books on the Kindles. So that was an interesting thing for me. I was surprised to have these strong feelings of attachment towards the books, or this like yearning to hold a book in my hand. So, but I did. I don't know if I would personally buy a Kindle. I love having them at the library. They are a constant conversation that we can have with students about books and reading. Some students were worried. We often have a list of the top 10 checkouts in the library, and some of our students that read a lot were worried that their names were no longer going to be there because they borrowed a Kindle and read 7 books on the Kindle, but it only counted as 1 checkout. So that's a funny anecdote. But mostly things have been good. So I'm going to pause now and you guys can ask questions if you want. You're welcome to email me, contact me any way you'd like. Thanks!